In international diplomacy, a single photograph can echo across the digital landscape, shaping perceptions and influencing narratives in ways that official statements often cannot. Images have the power to transcend language barriers, instantly communicating complex messages to audiences around the world. In an era where social media amplifies every moment, a well-timed photo can become a symbol, a rallying cry, or even a diplomatic flashpoint. Such images spark debate among analysts and citizens alike, fueling discussions that ripple through newsrooms, living rooms, and online forums. The meaning of a single frame is dissected, interpreted, and reinterpreted as people search for clues about shifting alliances and hidden intentions. On September 1, 2025, at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin, China, a candid image captured Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and Chinese President Xi Jinping sharing laughter. The moment, unscripted and genuine, stood out amid the usual formality of international summits, offering a rare glimpse of camaraderie among three of the world's most influential leaders. The photo, showing them relaxed and amused, quickly went viral, symbolizing a potential alignment against Western-led global structures. It was shared millions of times, dissected by experts, and became a trending topic across multiple platforms, with many interpreting the leader's body language as a sign of deepening ties. Supporters in India, Russia, and China celebrated the image as a sign of strength among non-Western powers, hailing it as evidence of a new era of cooperation. For many, the photo represented hope for a multipolar world, where influence is shared and new partnerships are forged beyond traditional Western alliances. Meanwhile, Western capitals viewed it with skepticism and concern. Commentators questioned whether the image signaled a coordinated challenge to the established global order, or if it was simply a moment of diplomatic theater designed to unsettle Washington and its allies. For many in the West, the image was seen as political theater, carefully orchestrated to send a message to Washington about the growing influence of the SCO and the willingness of its members to stand together, at least for the cameras. The viral photo forced a re-evaluation of global alliances, prompting policymakers and experts to ask whether this was the birth of a new geopolitical bloc or merely a temporary convergence of interests. It highlighted the fluid nature of international relations, where yesterday's rivals can become today's partners, and where appearances can be as important as policy. Ultimately, the viral photo set the stage for high-stakes meetings on trade, security, and the future of the global order. Behind closed doors, leaders discussed issues ranging from economic cooperation to regional security, all under the shadow of an image that had already shaped public expectations. In modern geopolitics, appearances matter more than ever. A single photograph can become a powerful tool, shaping perceptions, influencing negotiations, and reminding the world that in the theater of diplomacy, sometimes the most important messages are the ones that are never spoken aloud. Beyond the viral photo ops, the Tianjin summit focused on strategic matters like energy trade. Russia, under Western sanctions, supplies discounted crude oil to India and China, fueling their economies at reduced costs. Discussions aimed at strengthening energy corridors and exploring new pipeline projects. Defense cooperation, particularly between India and Russia, was another key topic, despite India's growing ties with the US. The protracted war in Ukraine cast a shadow over the summit, with each leader bringing distinct perspectives. These core topics, energy, defense, and the Ukraine war, form a complex web of mutual dependencies. The summit was a demonstration of how these nations navigate a rapidly changing global landscape. To truly grasp the significance of the Tianjin summit, it's important to look beyond the headlines and understand the broader context in which it took place. This gathering was not just another diplomatic event, it was a moment that could shape the future of regional and even global power dynamics. At the heart of this summit is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or SCO, a group that has steadily grown in both size and influence over the past 2 decades. Founded in 2001 by China, Russia, and several Central Asian nations, the SCO began as a regional security forum focused on combating extremism and fostering stability. Over time, it has expanded its mandate to include economic cooperation, cultural exchange, and even joint military exercises, while welcoming new members like India and Pakistan. The 2025 summit was especially crucial, taking place amid heightened global tensions and shifting alliances. It provided a rare platform for leaders who often find themselves sidelined in Western-dominated forums, allowing them to voice their perspectives and seek common ground. The SCO's stated goals include promoting security, deepening economic ties, and encouraging cooperation on issues like counterterrorism and trade. These ambitions reflect the shared interests of its diverse members. But perhaps its most ambitious aim is to help build a multipolar world order, one where power is more evenly distributed, and no single country or alliance dominates the global stage. However, the SCO faces significant internal challenges. Deep-seated rivalries, such as the ongoing tensions between India and China, often limit the organization's ability to act as a unified bloc. These differences can stall decision-making and undermine collective action. As a result, the SCO remains more a forum for dialogue and negotiation than a cohesive alliance capable of directly challenging the existing world order. Its strength lies in providing a space for conversation, rather than enforcing a single vision. While its members share aspirations for greater influence and cooperation, they must first overcome significant internal divisions if the SCO is to become a true counterweight on the global stage. A shared frustration with American economic policy drove unity at the Tianjin summit. U.S. tariffs targeted China and India, creating economic pressure and a sense of betrayal. This shared grievance created common ground for Modi, Xi, and Putin. The leaders discussed strategies to mitigate these measures, including boosting intra-SCO trade. President Trump's commentary added fuel, criticizing India's reliance on Russian oil. For India, the tariffs highlighted a dilemma, balancing ties with the U.S. while maintaining strategic autonomy. The tariffs became a catalyst for non-Western solidarity concerning Washington. The Ukraine war was a sensitive topic at the Tianjin summit, with each leader navigating it carefully. The summit brought together a diverse group of nations, each with its own interests and priorities, making the discussions even more delicate. Behind closed doors, the atmosphere was tense as leaders weighed their words and actions, aware that any misstep could have far-reaching consequences for their countries and the world. President Putin framed the conflict as a defensive struggle against NATO expansion. He argued that Russia was left with no choice but to act, portraying his country as a victim of Western encroachment. This narrative was aimed not only at justifying Russia's actions to the world, but also at rallying support from sympathetic nations within the summit. China and India, while not condemning Russia, called for peaceful resolution through dialogue. Both countries emphasized the importance of respecting sovereignty and territorial integrity, yet stopped short of taking sides. Their approach reflected a desire to avoid alienating Russia, a key partner, while also signaling to the West that they support stability and peace. Their stance is a mix of principle and pragmatism, maintaining ties with Russia while avoiding Western sanctions. This balancing act allows them to protect their own economic and strategic interests, even as they navigate the pressures of a rapidly changing global order. The summit became a stage for these countries to demonstrate their diplomatic agility. China's position is nuanced, viewing the war through its rivalry with the U.S. For Beijing, the conflict is not just about Ukraine, but also about challenging American influence and asserting its own role on the world stage. China's leaders are keenly aware that their response will shape future relations with both Russia and the West. India's strategic autonomy guides its position, focusing on economic consequences and defense ties with Russia. New Delhi has long relied on Moscow for military hardware and energy supplies, making it cautious about taking any steps that could jeopardize these vital links. At the same time, India is mindful of its growing partnerships with Western nations. As India seeks to balance its traditional alliances with new opportunities, it must tread carefully, ensuring that its actions do not alienate any major power. This careful diplomacy is central to India's vision of itself as a rising global player. Modi's message was clear: India is a friend to all, advocating for peaceful dialogue. He stressed the need for cooperation and mutual respect, positioning India as a bridge between East and West, and a voice for moderation in turbulent times. The summit underscored the complexity of balancing global alliances. In a world marked by shifting power dynamics and competing interests, the leaders at Tianjin demonstrated that diplomacy is often a delicate dance, one that requires patience, skill, and a deep understanding of the stakes involved. Despite friendly gestures, India and China's relationship remains tense, marked by mistrust. The Galwan Valley clashes in 2020 altered their relationship, leading to a military standoff. Modi's visit to China was his first in 7 years, highlighting the chill in relations. The border dispute and China's partnership with Pakistan create structural rivalry. India's decision to skip the SCO's military parade signaled its unwillingness to overlook security threats. For China, managing its relationship with India is a strategic challenge. The summit represented a temporary truce in a long-term competition. A central theme at the Tianjin summit was multipolarity, marking an end to American dominance. The SCO is seen as an instrument for this transition, shaping a diverse global order. However, multipolarity means different things to different members, revealing cracks in unity. China and Russia aim to reduce American power, envisioning spheres of influence. India's vision is a balanced system where many countries have a voice. This divergence is critical to understanding the SCO's future and member relationships. While united against US hegemony, they differ on what should replace it. The debate over multipolarity is a debate over global power distribution. The 2025 SCO summit in Tianjin was a masterclass in statecraft, projecting unity while concealing complexities. The summit signaled that sanctions and tariffs might strengthen resolve to build alternative systems. However, fundamental conflicts of interest remain unresolved, particularly between India and China. India's absence from the military parade was a reminder of its conditional participation. The shared goal of multipolarity is fraught with internal contradictions. The summit demonstrated cooperation on mutual interest but underscored nationalism and rivalry. The friendly photo ops represent a temporary convergence, not a permanent alliance. The real test is resolving deep disagreements beneath the surface.